Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Harry Muppet. We are going to be casting a 1v1 Masters level game. Both of these players are Masters level. Up the top left side we do have our red Zerg player TAUREN, and down the bottom right side we do have our blue Terran player StormY. So this is going to be an awesome game. And speaking of awesome games, I just finished the Zotac Monthly Cup run back in April, and I believe I've just downloaded the Grand Final Series for the Go for SC2 Cup run back in May. So we've finished one and we're about to start the other. Probably in a few days I'll cast that. So lots of great tournament games out there, and we are going to be casting as many as we can. But right now we are casting this awesome Masters level play in a Zerg player and a Terran player. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this game. And yeah, not too much else to talk about, I guess. Just waiting for some interesting stuff to happen in this game. Seeing what all these players do. It's all very, very, very interesting. Yeah, alright. Okay, so we're going to wait for a spawning pool. Hatchery coming down first. There's actually a very early scouting SCV. He's going to see if there was a very early spawning pool coming down. Of course, generally in bronze, silver, and even gold level games, it's very good to scout an early Terran, early Zerg player, just to see if he's actually going for something like a 6 pool or 9 pool or something like that, because that's very dangerous. And the Terran players usually can deal with it, you know, without too many problems, as long as they get their supply depot up fairly quickly. He hasn't actually got the second supply depot up, but he's not really worried about lings coming in very fast. If you saw a spawning pool down already, then you can bet your life that he would have got that second supply depot down, or at least partially built to block it off. But there we go. This SCV going to come through, and he's going to do a bit of a scout, but the drone's all pulling off the mineral line. They see him straight away, and he's going to get taken out. So there we go, a couple of overlords moving out. Terran player going for a fairly fast command center. He's not worried about a ling rush at all. He saw the timing of the spawning pool and he's like, alright, it's not going for a ling rush, it's just going for some normal play. So he's going to be quite happy to put down this command center. He's not even going for a second supply depot yet, although he's going for it now because he actually needs the supply. This is not just to block off lings, this is actually because he needs the supply. And there we go, he's just going to be building marines. So we have seen a few Terran players go for Reaper harass. At this guy, he's just going to get a couple of marines, get a bunker down, and he's just going to be sitting there getting his expansion up nice and quickly. And an early expansion for a Terran and Protoss player, it's actually yeah, used a lot more than it was previously. And the good thing about this is that you can produce twice as many workers at one time as you previously could. So instead of producing one SCV at a time, you can produce 2 SCVs at a time. And it doesn't really matter that much to a Zerg, because it can produce like 3 at a time or just off one base if it wants to. But of course that cuts down on the army production, so it's a bit more of a different juggling act. But the Terran player, once he gets the 2 bases down, he can build 2 SCVs at a time without even having to worry about anything else really. And here we go, a whole bunch of lings coming out. These are the level 30 skins, and in fact I noticed the TAUREN is actually a level 90 player, so good on him for getting that done. Very nice. StormY is actually a level 30 player, but he hasn't got the level 20 Terran skin, so I'm thinking he must either play as random or this is not his primary race or something like that. But regardless, he looks like he muffed up this gate a little bit. I don't think he intended to have the gap there, but that's going to be fine. Bunch of lings going to come in. They do not have speed though, so they're just going to be limping in there, and they are not going to get very far with this bunker full of marines in there. Although they see them, and the marines run out just to scare them away, manage to kill one ling off. But our Zerg player, man, he's sending quite a lot of roaches down, so this is a very nice roach timing attack that he's got going on here. And this is going to be very scary. As far as I know, the Terran player has no marauders yet. He's just getting marines. He's getting a factory reactor, so he's going for Hellions. But with these roaches out here, he is going to be in a lot of trouble right now. And I'm not sure if he's going to be able to fend these guys off. Roaches just do so much damage. He's got a ton of SCVs repairing this bunker, so he might be able to hold it off here. Yeah, actually, I think he's going to be able to hold it off. The roaches moving in. They're going to start taking out the SCVs. But I think this roach harass is pretty much over at this point. He's got so many roaches. He's burrowing some of them. But he's just getting some more SCVs coming in to reinforce, and all the roaches are underground now. So it's a good job from the Terran player there to repair that bunker. Otherwise, he may have been lost. Now, he's done a good, though. Meanwhile, the Zerg player, man, he's killed a lot of workers. So, excellent job there. And he's doing an excellent job of burrowing his roaches when they get low on health. He lost one there, but man, a lot of SCVs going down there from the Terran player. He's down to 20 under 32. And that is not going to be good for him. But he does have 2 command centers now, so he can afford to build 2 workers at a time. Now, the Terran player, man, I really would expect him to use a scan at some point. Just to, he's nearly got a scan here. Is he going to scan? Is he going to scan? Is he going to scan? No, he's just going to save it on mules. He's not worried at all about these guys. He's, does he have a engineering bay yet? He could build a missile turret up the front. That would be good, but no, he doesn't really care about these guys at all at the moment. As this is a lair coming down. Roach is going to try and make a move into the mineral line. 3 of them make it. They're going to burrow down here, and then they're going to start taking out the SCVs. And of course, the Marines not being in there, it's going to be quite a pain in the ass. Widow Mine's coming down. He's putting Widow Mines in his own mineral line. And there we go. He's going to do quite a lot of damage, but unfortunately, splash damage is going to be pretty bad if the roaches move into the SCV line, because the Widow Mines are going to hit the roaches and the splash damage is going to kill a fair amount of SCVs. So, yeah, not sure about this tactic. I think the Widow Mines out the front would be a little bit better. But yeah, still no scan coming down for the roaches. So I'm not sure about this. Here we go, roaches coming up. They're going to do a bit of damage. I think one roach went down there. This one's just about to go down, but he should have plenty of time to burrow that. This roach coming down. There's only 2 Hellions left. But a nice Widow Mine shot there takes out that roach. And there's just one more roach left over here. Probably not enough to worry about a scan yet. Anyway, but there we go. He's building 2 starports. So this is very interesting. I can think that this is for medevacs, maybe? No, tech labs. We have tech labs. So we are either... There's a few different options here. We're either going for some... there we go. He's trying to wipe out the missile turret. He managed to kill the SCV that was building it. But this roach, man, he is pretty much dead at the moment. Going back to the starports, man. It's got to be either Ravens or Banshees. Oh, that was not good. That Widow Mine screwed up quite a bit there. It didn't kill the SCVs, but 40 splash damage, man, he almost killed them. So there we go. It is going to be Banshees with Cloak on the way, and this is going to be very good versus the roaches. But the Zerg player, man, he's got a Spore Crawler at both of his bases. He's actually getting his 3rd base up, so the Zerg player is doing very well in terms of his macro. He's actually, this Terran, man, with both his command centers constantly building workers. The Zerg player is actually a little bit behind here. The Terran player's gone absolutely nuts on workers. And that roach harass, man, it really didn't do that much. It was technically an attack, but yeah, it didn't do too much. So the Zerg player is definitely going to have to think of something else. He's got a whole bunch of roaches here, but with Banshees coming out on the field right now, I'm not sure what can happen. Although this guy, I think he might want to wait a little bit longer, maybe get about 4 or 6 Banshees, move in here, start taking out Spore Crawlers, start wiping out bases. But you can see, I think that Overlord may have seen the Banshees, because he is going Spore Crawler crazy right now. He is really worried about those guys. He's actually getting a Spire up now as well. Muta's going to be an excellent counter for the Banshees, although the Banshees never really enough of a large force to really require a counter. I mean, mostly you just get Queens and just wipe them out. It looks like these guys are actually searching for army to take out. But there we go. These are all going to be Spore Crawlers. Bunch of Hellions come in, just distracting those roaches, but I don't think that was really that necessary. And these Banshees, man, they're going to have to get out of there because there's just too many Spore Crawlers all over the place. They might be able to snipe some Queens, but this Zerg player has gone nuts on the Spore Crawlers. Absolutely nuts. And I think the Banshees are just, yeah, it's just not going to do anything. But here we go, large amount of roaches coming in. The Terran player has not really worked on his army at all anymore. The roaches may be thinking they were going to get the third base, but there is no third base. They're going to come in here. The SCVs, the bunker went down to half health in one go, so they weren't even repairing it. So he's a little bit not on the ball there. They're not even repairing it. Come on, start. It's not going to be enough. But there is a bunch of Banshees out now, 6 Banshees. So these roaches are going to go down in record time. And yeah, the Zerg player, I mean, the Banshees have gone from a harassing unit into an actual wiping out a crap ton of units by themselves unit. So the Zerg, man, he's going to have to do something about that. And what is he doing? He is building 25 workers at once. That is a crazy amount of workers. It's a crazy amount of macro. And he is going to be able to build a crazy amount of everything right now. But the question is, what tech route is he going to go for? I think Roach Hydra sounds pretty good at the moment, especially with Banshees on the field. Hydra's going to do excellent versus them. He did have a Spire though, so maybe some Mutas coming out. That would be fairly good as well, but of course Muta's not that good against Triple M, so the Terran could quite easily switch over to massive Marines and do quite a lot of damage to the Mutas. But he does actually have quite a lot of factories here. He's been building a couple of tanks, he's building a couple more tanks, so he's expecting Roach Hydra at the moment. And yes, we do have the Zerg player going on to Mutas at the moment. So there we go, Mutas coming out. He's got a Baneling Nest as well, so he may be going for Mutaling. He is getting the ranged upgrades though for the ground attack, so Roach Hydra is still a very, very good option for him, considering he's got the upgrades for it. But yeah, he's just going nuts on the Mutas right now. He's and we'll see exactly how this does versus the Terran player. Of course, the Banshee's going to be useless. Tanks and Hellions going to be useless. It just comes down to Marines, and we'll see if he discovers the tech switch that the Zerg has undergone and switches over to Marines, or maybe even Thors. Maybe he's even going to go Thors. That's he does have an armory because he's researching weapons upgrades, so I guess that Thors is probably going to be a very viable option. He's actually building 2 more factories over there with tech labs. So yeah, there we go. Very much like to see him get some Thors out to sort of counter these Mutas. There we go. Mutas just wiping out all the Banshee numbers, or most of them anyway. So Terran player, he's got to be thinking about Thors, and there we go, the first 2 Thors coming out. Unfortunately, he's not a Protoss player, so he can't chrono boost those Thors out. But he does have missile turrets, and he does have Widow Mines, and Widow Mines are going to be fairly good against the Muta Ball as well. So there we go, a couple of Vikings coming out as well. And yeah, we'll see exactly what he can do. Vikings not that good, but Thor is going to be excellent against the Mutas. And here we go, Banshees. Bunch of workers just coming up now. This is a feast for the Banshees. Please tell me that he sees this. He's going to come back. There he goes. He's taking out workers. 1, 2, 3 go down. And the Banshee is just going to run for it. They split off in different directions. But this guy does not want to go in this direction because, yeah, there's a bunch of Spore Crawlers over there. So that is going to be bad. Will the Mutas miss him? Will they really miss this Banshee? It looks like they were. And the Banshee comes back, but the workers have all pissed off. They're coming back now, but yeah, this guy's still cloaked, man. He's rapidly running out of energy, though. Will he be able to go down and take out these workers? Maybe he won't have to. I mean, it's just he's just using a distraction to let the Thors get out. So there we go. He's just distracting these forces. Now the Thors are out in the field. They're at the front side, though. So the Mutas come down and decide to go for these missile turrets. They're still going to take massive amounts of hits from the Widow Mines, though, so that's going to be bad. But these missile turrets, they're not going to do that well against this massive amount of Mutas. It's not massive, but, you know, 12, 14 Mutas, I mean, that's pretty sweet. And what's he going for now? Ground armor, so this looks like a Ling going for total... No, actually, this is still Roach Hydra upgrades right here. He's going for a Hydra's there, so it looks like he's going for Roach Hydra. The Mutas are only a temporary sort of thing. Meanwhile, the Terran player has gone full-on mech. He's got 1-1 on the way. He's got Thors coming out of his ass. The mutas are coming in for an attack though, and this base is not as defended as it could be. There's 2 missile turrets, but they're on the other side. And the Terran player, he's just going to keep pushing in though. He's going to go for the kill. Bunch of infestors in there, and that could be bad. If we get Neural Parasite going down on the Thors, that could be very bad for the Terran player. But I don't know if he's actually got it researched. Does he have it researched? I don't think he does. So maybe the Terran player will be fine here. Total crapload of infested Terrans though, but the Hellions just roasting them like there's no problem. Thor's all back here. He's expecting the mutas to come out and try and counter his army. It's not going to happen though. Mutas are busy just wiping out all these SCVs. And here we go, a bunch of infestors coming down as well. Meanwhile, the Terran player is just going to go in. He's just going to roast everything with his Hellions. And this army is so scared of the mutas coming back and hitting him that he's not moving in, which is not very good. He definitely needs to get in there. If he's going to do a base race, he needs to be a lot faster. Meanwhile, he's got 1 Thor out here. He's getting 3 more coming out. So this base should be safe from the mutas by the time they get out there. There's 1 Viking. He's going to take a couple of kills. That's a good stuff. And there's a Thor coming out. So there we go. He's really not sending that much in. But here come the Ultras. The Ultras coming out. They don't have that many weapon upgrades, so I wasn't expecting them. But they are coming out. And Tank Thor should be able to do quite a bit of defense versus the Ultras. But he's really not moving in far enough. He's constantly expecting an attack to come. But it's not coming, so he's not moving his forces in as much as they can. This Viking, man, he's going nuts. He's taken out a whole bunch of Overseers. So good job on him. The Terran player keeping half his forces back at his base. He needs to think about going out, getting that 3rd base again. But here we go. Everything's coming in. Going to get right into the tanks. He does not have enough to take out these Ultras. And the Thors, man, they were designed for taking out mutas. They were not designed for taking out this many Ultralists. And he is going to just get completely wiped out. And yeah, I think that the Terran player is going to be in a lot of trouble right now. He needs a massive amount of tanks with some buffers in them to take out the Ultralists, but he just doesn't have it. He doesn't have the upgrades either. I mean, he's got 1-1. The Ultras have 1-5, so they are so damn beefy. And yeah, I mean, just needs massive siege tanks, massive Thors to take him out. Mainly siege tanks though. Mainly siege tanks, and he needs to make sure that his tanks do not get flanked by the Ultras. But yeah, it's just going to be so tough. He's got a nice bit of work here though. The tanks are all going to be in there. They need to get them sieged up though. But the ones that are sieged up doing quite a lot of damage. The Ultras going down quite quickly. And the Thors managed to take out the mutas. So that is a good work there by the Terran player. He's got the tank army that he needs. He got him in a good position so that the Ultras weren't able to flank him. And that was a good job. He's built the command center. That is nowhere near the middle, I think. That is way too far away. But I suppose he can lift it up after he sets it down. Zerg player going for a 5th and a 6th base. So he is just going nuts on the economy. You see his 71 harvesters to 35. Terran lost quite a few over there. He hasn't really rebuilt the workers that he lost over there. He switched his 3rd base over there instead. And this base went down quite a bit. He hasn't repaired it yet, but that's something that he really needs to get stuck into. And hopefully he doesn't make this into a planetary before he shifts this over to its correct position, because that would really, really suck. But he is going to move out there. This Overlord over there is going to see not too much. Actually, I don't think it's close enough to the base, but he's finally getting two weapons and armor out. So he's going to go in there. Bunch of infested Terrans coming down. And this command center only just got created, and it is going to start getting taken out now. Bunch of infestors over here. They're just going to do a bit of a walk around. He wants to make sure that this command center goes down, so he's going to send a few more infested Terrans over here, I think. And here we go. The Terran force is going to move in here. He does have this massive amount of Ultras coming down, and these Ultras are going to try and do a flank from the backside. This is going to be very scary. He needs to get the Thors in between the Ultras and the tanks. Actually, no, it looks like the Ultras... Yeah, here we go. We go with the flank. He's got to get them in front. He's got to get them protecting those tanks. It's not happening. Some of the tanks going in there, but they're not attacking the tanks. The Zerg player needs to attack the tanks before he attacks the Thors. He's not doing it, but he may have an overwhelming army here anyway. And it looks like he has. He wiped out all the Thors before he wiped out all the tanks. So he just had too many forces there. Not too much the Terran player could really do about that. He went out there, tried to make something happen, but the Zerg player just had a massive army, and the Zerg player has a massive economy. In the Zerg player, man, he's on 5-6 bases right now. He's mining off 2 of them. He should be mining off this one, but he's not. And the Terran player, man, he's mining off 1 base at the moment. So, yeah, he's really quite far behind in terms of his economy at the moment. And this base is almost half dead. I still can't believe he hasn't repaired this. That's not good at all. And these forces are just going to wipe this base out. You can be sure this thing is going to be the first thing to go down. And there's not much the Terran player can really do about it. He does lift it up though, but the workers, man, workers versus ultras, not good at all, not fun. He might do alright there. He doesn't have that many tanks though, but I don't think these guys actually want to go in. They wiped out a massive amount of workers. Oh, here they go. They're waiting for some roach reinforcements, and the tank's going nuts, but moving in there as fast as they can, really close. Have to see if the Thors can hold up so the tanks can do the damage. They might be able to do it. It's just roaches left and 1 ultra, so I think the Terran player should be alright here. And, oh man, that Thor so close to dying, but yeah, I mean, here we go. Nice scan going down. The workers going to be working on this infestor. And there we go, another scan. He's had to use up 2 scans to get rid of that infestor, so that was not good at all for him. That's 2. That's an extra mule that he could have had, that he cannot have anymore. And the Terran player is in a lot of trouble now. He tried to get a base over here, but these infestors forced it to run away. And this base just got taken out. So right now, man, I mean, the Zerg player is dominating in terms of the economy, and he's just sending constant forces out. And the Terran player is in a lot of trouble. He just cannot catch up. There's not much he can do. He's sending another command center over there to see what he can do, but he must know that there's infestors over there. He must know. He's going to put down the scan. There he goes. He sees the infestors. He's going to chase them, but they're going to spit down a whole bunch of infested Terrans, and that should buy them enough time to try and get away. There we go. 2 of them go away, but they're not going away for good. They're just going to sit on the edge, and when this army goes away again, they're going to come in again. They're going to wipe out more SCVs. He's putting down a planetary though, so that should help quite a bit. But he is going to leave 1 Thor here, maybe a couple of tanks. Here he goes, another scan, and that should be the end of these infestors. There we go, just manages to get that one before it goes out of range. What do we got going on here? Just a Viking is probably searching for overlords all over the place, but this is Zerg player, man, all over the place with the expansions. And he is getting ultras like there's no tomorrow. He's got the upgrades up to 2 weapons. He's getting 3 weapons now. And yeah, I mean, the Terran player, he's getting some good units to deal with the ultras. I mean, tanks awesome against ultras. He's got 2-2 going on now, his weapons and armor. But the Zerg's macro is just so much better. I mean, he hasn't got the worker count up. He's building like 3 or 4 workers at a time, but he's still just so far behind. And maybe give him another 5 minutes or something, he can get his economy in some sort of decent shape. But with these massive amount of ultras constantly swarming in, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, this base just goes down so fast. I don't think this army can stand against the tank line. It might wipe out half of these ultras, but no, they're not even going to attack. They're just shutting down the expansions left, right, and center, and that's all they're doing. That's all they care about. And he's just going to stop the base from landing down there. And why not? He's forcing the Terran player to use a scan. And there we go. This ultra is going to get taken out. And this yeah, it's just going to keep on happening. The Zerg player doing an excellent job shutting down these bases, keeping the Terran player on the defensive. We've seen the Terran player move out a couple of times. He hasn't really done anything, and whenever he has moved out, the Zerg has countered, gone down over there, and done some damage. I don't think this command center is even centered. I think it should be down another square, but what the hell, you know, it's close enough. And most of his workers are over here anyway, so there we go. Zerg player, man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's harvesting, sort of harvesting off this one. Harvesting. He's fully harvesting off 2 bases. The Terran is almost harvesting off 2 bases. So, I mean, his income's getting better. I'll give him that. He's not getting the gas, though. But he needs the gas, but he's not getting it. The Zerg player is getting crap loads of gas. The Terran player is getting a decent amount of minerals using mules, but his gas income is not what it needs to be. He's starting to improve that though, getting the gas going. He needs to get the gas going on this base as well, then he'll be in a decent position. But he's just scrambling to get forces, and the Zerg players just he's even got Broodlords now, so Broodlords and Ultralisk going to be very, very good combination, because of course the Thors basically have to sacrifice themselves to protect the tanks when the Ultras come in. So Broodlord's just going to do awesome damage. He's getting some Vikings out now, which is an excellent choice, because they will do very, very well against the Broodlords. But he has got a few Corruptors saved back here, so Terran's not going to be... it depends. I think he's got enough Vikings to take care of the Corruptors, but a couple of fungal growths on this Viking group, and that is not going to be good for them. Meanwhile, the Broodlord's just doing so much damage. His tank runs out, and then he's like, you know what, I really actually don't want to go out there. I'd prefer to go back here. And, I mean, Broodlords versus tanks. This tank line is just going to absolutely just get creamed if Broodlords start attacking it directly. But right now he's happy, so we're taking out that base. If we have a look at the income, he did not save any of the workers, I don't believe. And they all died, and he is down to an absolutely stupidly low amount of SCVs now. We just have a look again. It's 27 versus 85. And I would not be surprised to actually see the Zerg sacrificing some drones right now just to get a bigger army supply. He just, but there we go. The Terran's thinking about moving out. This is a very bad time. He needs to siege up everything right now. He needs to take these Ultras out. He's sieging them up. The Ultras are all going to go down. The Broodlords are all going to go down with a bunch of Vikings up here. So, excellent, excellent job there, I'm going to say, by the Terran player. He's got the tanks he needs to take out the Ultras. And the Zerg player, man, diversifying into Broodlords. It was a nice idea. But with the Terran player already building some Vikings, then it just didn't work out. So he's seen the error of his ways. He's deciding to just say, screw it, I'm just going to go full Ultras from now on. This Viking landing, he's going to have a bit of a face-off against this Roach, and the Roach is going to win. And that is the first kill that Roach has done, so good for him. The Terran player, meanwhile, he says, I'm going to go out there, I'm not playing defensively anymore. I'm going to go out, I'm going to do some damage, and he might very well wipe this base out. He's got to be very worried about the counter-attack though. There are a lot of Ultras out on the field once again. The Zerg just building them like there's no tomorrow. He's constantly maxing out. And he needs a bit of a scan down here because he could kill so many drones if he did a scan there. But he's not expecting it. Maybe he thought this base was empty. He's going to go up and he's going to try and wipe this base out as well. And this is good for the Terran player because it's going to be very hard for the Ultras to counter him there. The Zerg player knows that, so he's not even going to try. I don't think he's going to try. He may just go down and hit this third base while the Terran player is distracted. It's definitely going to be a good idea. One Widow Mine down here. This base hasn't built up any spores or spines yet, so this is going to be very good. Look at this tank line here. He's very, very prepared for the Ultras to run up. The Ultras, this Zerg player cannot possibly be stupid enough to actually try and run up there, though. He's going to wait for him to come back down. Here we go. He's going to wait for the Terran player to come out, and then he is going to flank the living shit out of him. He is going to hit him from all sides. The Terran player is defensive here, but the Zerg player is just waiting for him to come down that ramp, and then he will just completely wipe him out. Meanwhile, he's doing a bit of harass down here. The Terran continuing to do a bit of harass here. Going to try and take out this queen. He really needs a couple of ravens out on the field because these guys are just burrowing so much, and yeah, you can roast so many drones. This Terran player, man, he must know that something's up. He does not want to go down if he can help it. Where's the vision? He doesn't technically know about this, but yeah, I mean I mean the thing is, if the Terran player stays here, then he's got the Zerg contained because the Zerg can't afford to run away. But there he's actually moving out. He didn't know that the Zerg was there. He knows it now, though. He's got to be backing up here. Back up, back up. Get your forces. Get the siege tank sieged up. He lost a couple of tanks here. It's maybe too little, too late, though. The Zerg just going in. Terran got back in a bit of a better position, but he was caught by surprise there by that massive amount of Ultralisks. And yeah, that was just very, very ugly for the Terran player. And he's in a lot of trouble now. He's got to defend this base. He's got to defend this base. He took out a couple of bases from the Zerg player, but I don't think he got any workers at all. Actually, he did. He got some Hellion harass down there, and I think that may have taken out a lot, or maybe the Zerg's just spending a lot of them. I think the Zerg may have just used up a lot of drones to actually build stuff, or sacrificed them, or something. I don't know what he did. But he's definitely got less drones, and I don't think the Terran killed him. I think he actually used them for buildings and stuff like that. So there we go. And this massive Ultra army, I mean, he's pulling right back to here. He's got a massive amount of tanks here. This should be enough to take out these Ultras if they're stupid enough to move in. But the Ultras instead, just going to wipe out this base. All the workers are going to go down. The Terran is down to 3 harvesters. 2 of them are right down there. So I have no idea where the last one is. But the game is pretty much over for the Terran player. He's actually moved out here. Not a good decision. He might have done a little bit better back there, but I guess with the Broodlords coming in, he really didn't have a choice. And there we go. That is going to be the end of the game for our Terran player. TAUREN going in there, really showing what Zerg macro is all about. When you get a crap load of bases up, you can see he's got more than half of the total bases on the map. And he is just going absolutely nuts with the mining. He ended up actually either building stuff or sacrificing with his drones just to get up a bigger army. And you can just have a look at the minerals, man. He was constantly maxed out. Whenever he'd lose an army, he'd just instantly build another one, like 10, 12 Ultralists at once. It's just absolutely nuts. And the Terran player, man, he is just scrambling to keep his 3rd and his 4th bases up. But the Zerg constantly pressuring them. Created another army, sent it in, wiped out a base. The Terran player really had a lot of trouble dealing with it. He might have been a little bit better off if he had Triple M, large amount of Marauders and stuff dealing with these Ultras. But the tanks, I mean, the tanks are still a viable option to deal with Ultras, and he showed that by wiping out the Ultras time and time again. But I mean, the macro is just too much. The Zerg macro is just all over the place, and there we go. The game's finished off. He actually had 3 attack on his flyers, and it was just getting 1 armor going on. So there we go. Congratulations to TAUREN for that absolutely wonderful Ultra harass. And even the Broodlords at the end of the game, I think they didn't really do that much, but they provided enough of a mix to sort of screw the Terran player over. I mean, he had a very nice counter versus Ultras, but add in the Broodlords and sort of stressed him out a little bit too much. And yeah, stress is not a good thing to add to this game when you've already got a crap load of Ultras to deal with and you're having a lot of trouble keeping your 3rd and 4th bases up. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching this game. This has been Harry Muppet. If you liked it, please subscribe. I hope you enjoyed it.